Welcome to the second week of our topics. This week's topic is time management. And before you tune me out, because I know we talk about it over and over again, just hear me out. I have some different thoughts and some different tools for you to use to better manage your time. So let's get into this. So I absolutely cannot start shifting the way that we think about time management without reviewing what we've already talked about around time management. And so one of the things that we have talked about, and you probably have heard everyone talk about over and over again with managing your time, is prioritizing. I know last year we talked about prioritizing, and you guys saw Stephen Covey's matrix of prioritizing, and that is going to be included in the handout. But that is just the first step. Stephen Covey's matrix is awesome for classifying your task. It's really good for giving you a visual to-do list and ultimately helping you with prioritizing. But it really doesn't help you manage the time that you have. It doesn't help you to manage the hours you have in the day. It really just helps you to manage the tasks that you keep on your to-do list. And so I really want you to start there and start learning how to prioritize. But then I want to be able to take that a step further with what we're going to talk about today, and really talk about multiplying your time. But before we get there, there's one other thing that we talked about with managing your time, and we talked about managing upwards. You want to make sure that the person who is your supervisor basically stays off your back, right? So you want to get the things that are important to them done first. So we talked about that, and we talked about, hey, if you get an email from your boss, that you're gonna want to put that in the urgent and important category and get those things done as quickly as possible, because that frees you up to have more time to do whatever you want to do. And we also talked about how that grants you credibility and grants you more autonomy, because you get the things that your supervisor wants done first. But again, we're going to take this a little bit further and really see if we can try to get you some more time back to do what you need to do. And if you know me, you know that I am all about having the right priorities. And for me, I've always had these priorities, but being in Mary Kay really helped to solidify and put the priorities in order for me. And so for me, my priorities are God first, family second, and career third. And so my team knows that if they need to go and do anything for them and their spirit, I am absolutely going to support that before anything that comes to do with work. If there's anything that they need to do for themselves or their family, that is absolutely going to come before work. And that is really because I know that when I've taken care of the things that I need to take care of spiritually, and I've taken care of the things that I need to take care of with my family, all of the other stuff, the job, the businesses, all of that other stuff is so much easier for me to focus on once I have had those things done. And so that is the first thing that I want you guys to think about when you think about time management. My things are God first, family second, and career third. But what are your 3 priorities? Because that really is going to help you to figure out where you need to spend the most time. And so I want you first to really get that under your belt. You can still mine, you can come up with your own, but you need to have your values, your time values in place before you can even think about managing your time. And so with that, because last time we talked about emotional management, and one of the things that we talked about was having a morning routine, and we talked about using savers. So silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing as a part of your morning routine. Well, my morning routine is non-negotiable. My morning routine is when I get the things done for God first and family second. And so if I skip those all day long, I'm going to be thinking about how am I going to fit those things in the rest of my day. And so that time is absolutely non-negotiable, and it goes into my calendar, my planner first. I use my planner and I use my phone, the calendar in my phone, to schedule everything that I do. And so my morning routine is actually, it's not in my calendar right now, it's in my phone. And that happens every single day, because that's how I know I'm making sure that I've taken care of the things that are important for God first and family second, first thing in the morning. And then when I go off to work, or I go off to a skincare class, I don't have to worry about those things that are important that still have to get done at home, and I can focus on the people that are in front of me. So that is the first thing. I make sure I have my morning routine set. The second thing I do every single month is I sit down and I write down all of my ministry work and Bible studies. That's just me personally. I sit down and write all of those out on the monthly calendar so that I know when I have to be at church, if I'm teaching at church, if I have a meeting at church. I know what stuff I need to bring, and then I also break down any Bible studies that I am leading. So right now I'm leading a 21-day challenge. That is all planned out in my calendar already, what we are talking about each and every day, so that I know that is planned and out of the way. And as far as studying for those things, I know when I need to study for each one of those things so that I'm prepared for that. So that is the second thing I do in my calendar. The third thing that I do in my calendar is I schedule all of our date nights. All of my husband and my date nights are in my calendar for the month. It may not say where we're going, but it is in my calendar because family second is important to me. And our family would be completely different if it wasn't for my husband and my relationship. And so date nights go on there second, along with date nights. We do once a month maintenance, couples therapy. That goes in my calendar, and that way nothing gets scheduled over date nights or couples therapy, because those are important for us. The fourth thing that goes into my calendar are my kids' activities. And so now that they're back in school, I sat down and I wrote down every activity that was happening at their school. I wrote down all the days they have off school, free dress days. My younger one is in elementary school. All of her specials for every single day for the school year are in my calendar right now. And then I go in and write them out on the day they are as the weeks come through, so that I know what my kids are doing. I know what we're doing with my kids every single day. And again, nothing gets scheduled over those activities because they're already on my calendar. And then the fifth thing that I do is my work schedule. And so I use my Outlook calendar. Everything for work goes into the Outlook calendar. And once I've finished making sure that my morning routine, my ministry work, my date night, and my kids stuff is all in my calendar, then I go back to my Outlook calendar and I see in my email and I see what things I need to do for the month. I try to plan the month, but a lot of times that ends up being week to week, and I make sure that I work those things around what my kids have going on. And I know for me it's a little bit different because my schedule's a little more flexible, but you can still do the same thing. So if I know that like next week it is family night at Cameron's elementary school, well, I know that on that Thursday night I cannot be at work late. That starts at 5 o'clock. If I am going to go way on the other side of town, way to North Las Vegas, I have to make sure that I am there by 9 o'clock and that I have a plan for what I'm going to do while I am there, and that I am out of there by 2 o'clock so that I can get all the way back home on the other side of town so that I am there for her activity. So that might mean that I have to back up to some other days and make Tuesday or Monday longer so that I can get things done on those days so that I can be there for her. So that is how I go about scheduling my activities. And so again, I use a written planner. Actually, everything is in my written planner. So this is next week. I've started planning next week already. I put what my kids are having for lunch, what we're having for dinner. Here's her special schedule. I still got to go back and do that. I have already have some calls that we have for work scheduled in here. I will go back and put in the store numbers that I need to go to. Each day of the week has something that I do, so I'm not trying to get everything that needs to be done in my life done in one day. So Monday is our weekly home blessing, and that's really where I make sure I don't do it. I assign the things that need to be done every week in our house to my kids, and then that's what they get paid for. They don't get an allowance, but every day has a different theme, and those are the days that I get the things done in my house that needs to get done. You'll see Saturday and Sunday I kind of like to leave open so that we can do something fun. And here's my husband's lunch menu right here and the grocery list for the things that he needs. So this is my lifeline. This is where I keep everything I need to run my week, my life and my family's life for the week. So that's that. And then my Outlook planner and my Google Calendar on my phone are where all my reminders come from, where all my appointments are kept at, so that I stay on track. So those are great tools for you to use, both of them, or one or the other, to help to organize your life. And so the thing that I want you to do, what I want to really talk about is I want to talk about multiplying your time. So we talked about the matrix, and that the matrix really helps you take the singular task and kind of determine, is it important or not? Is it urgent or not? And then to put it into the different boxes. And obviously, if it's urgent or important, those are the items that you need to work on now. And then urgent and unimportant. So then do you do urgent and unimportant next, or do you do important and not urgent next? Which one is which? It doesn't really help you with that. And so what I want to talk about now is kind of this funnel of deciding what to do with your times. And so I want you to imagine a funnel. I want you to imagine a funnel. And in this funnel, there are slots that separate the funnel into 4 different sections, all right? And so we're going to take all of our tasks that we need to do, everything that we put in a nice little matrix, we're going to gather all those tasks back up, and we're going to drop them in the top of the funnel, and they're going to swirl around. And so here's what's going to happen. Our tasks are going to swirl around in the funnel, and they're going to come to that first section, right before the first cutoff in the funnel. And so we're going to ask, is this task even worth doing? Is this task even worth doing? And so the way we decide, is this task even worth doing, is really based on our values. So is the task really worth doing? Is it going to benefit somebody? Is it going to benefit you? Why are you doing that task? And if you can't think of a reason why you are doing that task, it's probably not worth doing. And so if it is not worth doing, it flies out of your funnel. That task is gone. Goodbye. It is deleted. It is not returning again. We eliminated it. And so what's remaining after we've looked at all our tasks and we've said, is this worth doing? Is this worth doing? And some things have flown out of the tunnel because no, they're not worth doing. The next thing they're going to do is drop down to the second section of our funnel. And the second section of our funnel is, can I automate this somehow? Is there some way that I could automate this task so that it gets done, but I don't necessarily have to do it? And so you're going to look at every task that is in your funnel for work, for home, and figure out what you can automate. for me, thank you, Amanda. I love you for this. I have finally switched over to Walmart's pickup. I was already using emails to plan my dinners, which is awesome because the recipe and all of the ingredients you need for the recipes are right in emails. And you can build your grocery list there, and it separates it by category. But I've finally taken the step to now take that list and send it straight to Walmart. They charge my credit card, and I can pick that stuff up on the way home from church on Sunday. So thank you, Amanda, for that. I have automated that thing in my life. So what is it that you have in your life that you can automate? Honestly, automating as many things as you can at home will help you to relax and be able to focus on the things that you need to get done at work. And there's also going to be some things at work that are that you're able to automate. So get those things automated. That may be you set recurring reminders in your Outlook calendar for you to do a certain thing. Whatever you can automate so that it does that thing on its own, and then it flies out of your tunnel then. So you've already eliminated the things that don't have any worth, and now you've looked at what was left and you've automated everything that can be automated. And I mean everything. You're going to keep looking at tasks as they come and say, can this be automated? And if it can be automated, you automate that thing. No matter what it is, you automate that thing. It is much, much more valuable to spend, for instance, bill pay, right? My husband loves to sit down and pay bills himself. He loves to sit down and pay bills himself. And he likes to go into each utility company or bill that we have, and he likes to go on their website and look at the bill and see how much it is, and then he likes to go into the bank, our bank account, and he actually likes to enter the vendor for the bill into the banking system and then pay the one by one in the banking system. Now, that's him. He likes to do that. That takes a lot of time. I, on the other hand, do not want to sit down every single month and look at all the bills and then go into the banking system and pay the bills every single month. And so now that I'm in charge of the bills, every single bill that we have is on auto pay. It probably took me an hour to sit down and go through all of our bills and go to all of their websites and make sure that they're all on auto pay. But now that they're all on auto pay, I no longer have to touch them to make sure that they are paid. They are automated, and the hour that it would have taken to sit down every month and review each bill and go pay it in the bank, I got all that time back. So hour up front to set up the bill pay frees me up countless hours in the future, as well as my sanity remembering when things are due. So automate everything that you can. Once you have figured out what could be automated, all of the tasks remaining are going to drop down to the third section of our funnel. And this is where you're going to look at everything that's in the funnel that is left and say, can this be delegated? And I am going to warn you that when you ask yourself, can this be delegated? Do not ask yourself, can the people do it the way that I would do it? That is the killer of delegation. And that is the killer of growth in people. Whether it is your employees or whether it is your children, failure to delegate because you feel that someone cannot do something as well as you will kill that person's growth. And really, since we are talking about being leaders, that is our goal, is to grow people. And so we really need to take a hard look at everything on our to-do list and decide what can be delegated. Because ultimately, if we delegate tasks and we teach and train people to do things that are currently on our to-do list, one, we grow that person, but two, that kind of automates that task for you because you no longer have to worry about that task being in your funnel because someone else knows how to do it. And if you've done it right, they know how to do it, and they know when to do it. And so now the thing will be in their funnel until they find somebody that they can teach and train to do that thing and delegate it to the next person. And so as we do that, we are literally multiplying our time. So if we as leaders look at all our tasks, we get rid of what's not value added. We automate everything that we can automate. We look at what's remaining and we figure out what we can delegate, and we spend the time up front to teach and train people to do that thing, and then we delegate it to them. And by our example, they go through the same process and continue to delegate things. We multiply everybody's time and we grow everybody in the process. And so I really want you to challenge yourself as you look at your to-do list and figure out if there are things that are in your funnel that need to be delegated, but you are holding on to them because you are afraid that people will not do them the same way that you would do them. And so that's the third section of the funnel. And so things are going to fly out as you delegate them. They're going to come out of your funnel at that section. And you'll still have some tasks left. And so the tasks that did not fly out at eliminate, the tasks that did not fly out at automate, the tasks that did not fly out at delegate are going to drop out the bottom of your funnel, right? They're going to drop out of the bottom of your funnel. And when they drop out of the bottom of your funnel, it is your time to make a decision. And that decision is simply, does it need to be done now or can it wait till later? And if it can be done now, you are going to stop what you are doing and concentrate on that thing and get it done now, and it's gone. If it is not something that needs to be done now, you are going to take it and you are going to put it back in the top of your funnel. Yep, that's right. It goes back in the top of your funnel, and when it goes back in the top of your funnel, you're going to concentrate and get the things that fell out of your funnel that had to be done now. You're going to concentrate on those things, get those things done, and then once those things are done, you're going to go back to your funnel and swirl things through again. And some of those things that dropped out the bottom of your funnel the first time that you said, I couldn't delegate it, I couldn't automate it, and I couldn't eliminate it. Some of those things that dropped out, but they can be done later. Some of those things that you dropped out and you put back in, as they swirl around again, they're going to become either not worth it, and that probably means it wasn't worth it to begin with, but there was something that you felt like you needed to hold on to at the time, and you're going to eliminate it. So it's not even worth doing anymore. And so we're going to eliminate it, which really means it probably wasn't worth doing in the beginning. Or you're going to ask, can I automate this? And you're going to, by the time you get back to it, you're going to either have come up with a new program on your smartphone or run into a new resource that will help you automate that thing. And so it can fall out of your tunnel at automate, or there's going to be new people in your life. Or remember, you were delegating things to some people who are going to learn those things. And then eventually they're going to learn those things well enough that, and they're going to have someone come into their zone that they can delegate it to. And maybe now they're ready to learn that thing that it can happen later, but now they're ready to learn that thing, and now you can teach them to do that thing and delegate something new to that person. And so it'll go out of your delegate slot, or it's going to fall down into the bottom of your funnel again, and you are going to decide, yes, this thing has to be done now, and you are going to concentrate on it and get it done. And so if it falls out and it says later, you can just put it back at the top. So if it keeps falling out and says later, you really need to reevaluate if you're really spending the time on figuring out if it's even worth it. Or the other thing may be you haven't really spent the time to figure out if the thing is really worth it, or you're not being honest with yourself that that thing can be delegated. There's nothing that is going to be on our to-do list that is constantly going to be, I can do it later, 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 I can do it later. Either it is not worth doing, or you are not trusting enough which is a you problem, to let someone else learn how to do that thing and delegate it. And so that's where I want you to focus on. I want you to remember the funnel, and I want you to put all your tasks through the funnel and figure out what you can eliminate, automate, and delegate, and what cannot be eliminated, automated, or delegated. You are going to concentrate on and get those things done. We are not multitaskers. We like to think we're multitaskers, but we are not multitaskers. We are single taskers, and we will get so much more done if we really evaluate what needs to be done and concentrate on the things that really need to be done and get them done so that they're forever off our to-do list, and we can move on to something else, because there will always be something else to fill our time. And so that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about time management today. I will see you all next week. Bye.